Hello, everyone, and welcome to Authors Radio, where we bring you inspiring conversations with talented authors from around the world. I'm your host, Zara Thompson, and today I'm delighted to be joined by best-selling author, fine artist, and audiobook narrator Stephen Moody. Stephen,
Hi.
welcome to Authors Radio. It's a pleasure to have you with us today.
Thank you so much for the invitation.
To begin, can you tell our listeners a little about yourself? What first inspired you to become both a painter and a novelist?
Well, I started out being a photographer. My dad gave me a camera when I was 6, and I always had a camera in my hand. And in 7th grade, I was in an art class in school, and my teacher told me to transfer out of her class because she was going to fail me because I had no talent. So I put down the paintbrush and I picked up the camera and I became a professional photographer. I had a studio in Salt Lake City and then in New York. And anyway, I had my first art show ever in Phoenix, Scottsdale, actually, in 2003. And I sold 3 of my 5 paintings and I decided to stay here. So I've been here ever since. So as far as being an author, my background was broadcast journalism in school. And I'd written for numerous magazines and different things like that over the years. And I shared a dream with a friend of mine that I had. And she told me I needed to write a book. So I did. So it was the first book that I wrote. And I wrote 90,000 words in 30 days and had my first draft out. And then that was it.
That's good. Before writing your novels, you paint the awards first. That's such a unique creative process. How does creating the artwork influence the stories you eventually write?
Yeah. So I was working on my novel that is coming out next month. And I had some friends over, and a daughter of a friend of mine, they asked me what I was writing. And when I told them what I was writing, she said, "You need to write a book about vampires." And so this painting I had done of a vampire years ago stood out in my mind, and it became the cover for the novel Savannah. So I create works of art and then I live with them, and then the story builds in my head and I start creating the novel from there.
Let's talk about Hold On to the Love, Forbidden Love. What inspired the story of Rosaline and Stefano, and where did the idea of their so deep connection across lifetime comes from?
Well, I believe that we are spiritual entities having a physical experience. Some people believe that we are physical bodies, and sometimes we have spiritual experiences. But to me, it's a spiritual world we have been around since the beginning of time, or even before that. And we have known a lot of people and over lifetimes. And so the story came about when I met somebody, and there was, when we shook hands, there was this feeling that just went through us that was an electrical current. And so that was kind of where the story started. And from there, it just kind of got bigger.
Okay. The novel explores love that is both forbidden and destined. Why was it important for you to examine those two ideas together?
It makes an interesting story. You know, everything else has already been written. And so this story about forbidden love, about my original idea is what happens when you meet your soulmate, but she's already married to someone else. And so it's like, do you just give up on it, or do you see where it goes? And so this book is kind of about that. It's very explicit, and I have never made any apologies to anyone for having written what I did, or writing the way that I write. And so it is very, it's very moving. It takes you to the edge and then some.
Rosalind is forced to choose between the life she's built and the connection that feels impossible to ignore. What did you hope readers would take away from the emotional journey?
I think everybody sees things differently, and everybody is going to take something away that is different based upon where they are in their life. People who are in a happy, robust relationship will view the book differently than people who are in a relationship that's going nowhere and is a negative experience. And so everyone sees things differently based upon their life experience. And so I didn't really write it for people to take a specific thing away from it. I wrote the book as a story, as something for people to get into, to read about something that was very different and very unique.
Your novel blends romance, spirituality, destiny, and emotional conflict. How did you balance those elements while keeping the story believable and emotionally engaging?
That was the challenge, was keeping everything believable. And I had a fabulous editor, and we went through the book 8 different times, honing in on everything to make it look like it was a complete work. And, it's forbidden love and destiny and all of that. It's all built into each other. And it just depends on the way that you look at it,
Good. Your sequel, Reunited, carries the story a century into the future. And I understand that third installment is currently in progress. Without giving away any spoilers, what can readers expect from this next chapter? And how excited are you to bring the story full circle?
Well, when I started writing the book, it was a one-off. And then when I got partway through the book, I realized that the book needed a second and third about reincarnation and about two people who kept fighting each other in their lifetimes. And so it's about these two entities who were at one time very close, and they come to Earth and they find that they don't know who the other person is because their memory's been wiped. And so when they go through their lifetime and they meet each other, there's a spark. And so in the first novel, it's one thing, and then 100 years from now, they come back, they're in different bodies, they're the same souls, but it's a whole different thing. And so the third book takes place in 1795 in Spain. It's being written currently, and it's going to have the same framework.
Good. In addition to writing, you're an accomplished fine artist and audiobook narrator. Which creative outlet feels most personal to you, or do they all inspire one another?
They all inspire one another. I find I go through periods where all I want to do is paint. And at this particular moment, I'm at a place where all I want to do is write. And so I just finished one book. I've just finished an audiobook that will be released September 1st. I have another audiobook I'm starting production on the end of this week. So it's just one thing after another. And it just depends. Sometimes I wake up when I feel like I want to paint, and so I paint. Other times I feel like I want to write, and then I start writing, and I write to the wee hours of the morning until the sun comes up. So it just depends on the day.
Good. What has been the most rewarding response you've received from readers since publishing Hold On to the Love, Forbidden Love?
You know, I've had so many people comment on the book. It's inspired me to write more. And so I have 4 novels currently that are out in the system. And I have 3 others that have either been written or are being written. And so it's a lot of fun. And it's something that inspires me, especially talking to people, getting their viewpoint. And sometimes people don't like the book, and that's okay too. I like to take the feedback and figure out what it is that they like, what they don't like. And it doesn't change the way that I write. I'm a creative. And so for me, it's all about being creative. And so if you listen to other people and, you know, someone doesn't like a painting, it doesn't bother me. At least it made you feel something. And that's the whole thing. When I'm writing, when I'm painting, my job as an artist, as a writer, is to make you feel. And that's what I want to do.
That's so good to hear. Stephen, are you currently working on any other books or creative projects that you'd like to share with our listeners?
Well, I can't really share them right now, but yeah, there's a book that's also different from all of the others that I've written. It's about reincarnation. It takes place in Paris, New York, and London. And I'm very excited about that one. It's called The Eternal Muse. And I'm about halfway through writing that book. And as soon as I finish these other projects, audiobooks and things that I'm currently working on, I'll make a big push of getting that book finished. And I have another book that's been written that is in the editing process about a guardian angel and a woman here on Earth, and how they fall in love with each other, and how it goes from there. And then again, the 3rd book of the Hold On series, Hold On to the Love, will be done in Spain. I have to make a trip to Spain first to do some research, and once I do that, then I can begin writing the book.
That's nice. You've written romance, gothic horror, and romantasy. Are there any other genres you're hoping to explore in the future?
You know, I never know. It just depends on what sparks my interest at the time. So if there's something that sparks my interest, then I'll go for it, you know? I don't look at it, I don't pigeonhole myself and say I only write romance. As you can see from my gothic horror novel, Savannah, that I wrote, which Amazon has blacklisted. They took it off because it was too dark for Amazon. So it is available on my website now, and I'm working in, it's also on Barnes & Noble, but I'm working on putting it in other places too, so people can continue to read that book.
Good. As both an accomplished artist and author, what's next for Stephen Moody? Are there any upcoming releases or projects your readers should be watching for?
You know, just more of the same. I've got my dogs at my feet here. They're a big part of my life. You know, I love animals, and I love I just love what I'm doing. So I'm just happy to continue doing it. If there's something else that I want to do, then I will pursue it. So we'll see.
Finally, for anyone discovering your work today, why do you think Hold On to the Love, Forbidden Love is a perfect place to begin?
What do you mean a perfect place to begin?
I mean, a book you think they should start with reading, they'll enjoy.
Yeah, I would start with the first one, which is Hold On to the Love, the Forbidden Love. And then I would read the second one, which is Hold On to the Love, Reunited. That painting is right here.
Wow. They're nice.
That painting was actually inspired at the time that I finished the first novel. And then I created the book from there, started writing it immediately.
Good. And before we wrap up, where can our listeners connect with you online and stay updated on your upcoming books, artworks, and other creative projects?
You can see my work on Instagram. That's Stephen Moody Artist, and that's Stephen with a PH, STEPHEN MOODYARTIST. I'm also on Facebook at Stephen Moody Artist, and you can also check out my website for my books at StephenMoodyAuthor.com.
Good. Is there anything you want our listeners to hear from you, explore more? You want to tell them?
Just enjoy the journey, enjoy life. Every day when you get up, there's something amazing that's going to happen if you just let it. Too often we get up and we're too determined with what's going to happen during the day, or because our mood may not be that great. We don't let the greatness happen. So let the greatness happen in your life.
Good. Stephen, thank you so much for joining us today. It's truly been a pleasure learning more about your creative journey and the inspiring behind Hold On to the Love, Forbidden Love. We wish you continued success with the trilogy and all of your future projects, and we look forward to seeing what comes next. To everyone listening, you want to say anything?
I just wanted to say thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you interviewing me and getting the word out about my books and my artwork.
You're welcome, Stephen. To everyone listening, thank you for tuning in to Authors Radio. If you enjoyed today's conversation, be sure to check out Stephen Moody's book and follow his work online. Until next time, keep reading, keep discovering, and we'll see you on the next episode of Authors Radio. Bye!
Bye-bye. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mm.